Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something very interesting that we're going to take a look at today. We're not actually going to do any sort of like a review or anything like that. We're basically just going to take a quick look at some really interesting figures I was recently able to acquire. So these are Jurassic World bootlegs, one of which I don't think is actually a bootleg, and I normally don't promote bootlegs or anything like that here on the channel, but I'm not trying to sell you guys on these. I just kind of wanted to show them off because they're so strange and unique. Some are not really all that unique, but I also don't know anywhere where you can actually purchase these. These were acquired by Dinomikemak, and he actually had sent them to me totally for free. All I had to do is pay for shipping because he's a super, super cool, awesome guy, and hooked me up with some really neat stuff that he recently found at a toy fair in Hong Kong that he was visiting, and they had a whole bunch of different dinosaur figures, dinosaur models and stuff there, but they also had a large selection of Jurassic World style bootlegs and stuff, and at the end of the night, I guess they just gave a bunch of stuff away for free. He snagged a few things, and he sent them my way. So I figured I would just show them off to you guys, and it would make kind of a fun video. The first of all is probably the lamest of all, because we have a T-Rex, but it's obviously just like a Mattel T-Rex sort of a bootleg. I mean, I think it's cool just because it's like a smaller version of a T-Rex, and it doesn't look terrible, but it's got pretty much the same amount of paint we would see on a Mattel version, except for the fact that we don't have painted nails, and we usually have painted nails on the feet of a T-Rex. But you can see this one is pretty much on its face, actually, but wow, it's really not standing all of a sudden. It was standing before, I think. There we go, so I just had to reposition the foot. But it's pretty much just like a shrunken down sort of a bootleg version of a Mattel T-Rex. We still have a tail here, but the tail kind of activates like a chomping action feature for it, which is kind of cool, I guess. Actually, one of the arms are going too. Look at that. I didn't even realize that. Look at that. The arm actually waves, so he's saying hello to everyone, apparently. And, again, it's definitely not the coolest figure in the world, but it was interesting. It was part of the group of figures he was able to acquire, and something that I thought was pretty neat and fun to add to my collection. I love anything that's different and unique, and these certainly are that. Then we've got this one, and this one is also, you know, more or less just a straight-up Mattel bootleg. You can see it doesn't look like anything super cool. We have some pretty neat-looking packaging for it, though, but it's basically just a Dilophosaurus bootleg. And you can see it even has the exact same action feature that we had with the actual Mattel one. So it is unfortunate to see that, you know, so many companies rip off other companies and they make bootlegs and stuff like that, but again, in an instance like this, since they're just totally free and I have no idea where you can actually purchase these, I figured it would be something interesting to show off to you guys, and also show you how cheap the bootlegs actually are made, because if you look at this in comparison to a Mattel version, like, it's night and day. The sculpt of this is just nowhere near as vibrant as you normally would see on a Mattel version. The paint job is super, super lackluster, even though it's not usually the best in the world as far as Mattel paint jobs in the first place, but as a whole, again, it's definitely not the best figure, and you can see on the back we actually have Walking with Dinosaurs, the 3D movie images for no reason whatsoever. So, pretty interesting, but it is definitely a bootleg for sure. Now, here's where we get to the two figures that I think are actually pretty cool. Well, actually, I would say one's pretty cool. The other one is just insane. And the first one I don't think is a bootleg, or at least I have no idea where it would have been bootlegged from. It's some sort of an interesting Indoraptor, and you can see that we have a really nice looking kind of like a glass plastic eye sort of thing going on, which I think looks super, super nice. We have an articulated jaw for it as well, which is pretty cool, and we also have the ability to kind of turn the head for the Indoraptor with a nice articulated tail. It also has articulated arms as well as articulated legs and swivel ankles, which are super, super loose. They just flop all around. And we have painted nails on the figure as a whole. So it's, again, not really what I would call... Actually, we also have this. I forgot. We've got this little button up here that just makes the eyes move, so it kind of makes it look like it's looking around. But I have no idea who makes this actual figure or anything like that. I definitely don't think this one is a bootleg because I've never seen this before. I've never seen anything like it at all when it comes to any Mattel releases. But it is definitely really neat, and I love the Indoraptor, so having this super strange, super random version of it is definitely really neat. If I actually find somewhere where you can purchase this, I would probably review it for you guys just to kind of, you know, promote the release of this one, because it does look to be, to me anyway, an original figure. But now comes the fun one. This is like the icing on the cake for these weird figures, we've got this thing. I don't know what's going on with these. It's clearly a Mattel either bootleg or inspired by a Mattel Velociraptor because it looks very similar, but at the same time definitely has some pretty significant differences. Like the head sculpt really does look like a Mattel Raptor, but it has like ridges running down the back of the neck and much more muted detail than you would normally see on a Mattel Raptor. One thing that is a plus, though, is we can see we actually have painted nails and paint that runs all the way out onto the tail, which is pretty cool for a figure like this, but it's filled with weird construction gear, and I don't know why. Like, we legitimately have, like, a truck here hanging off of the side of the Velociraptor, which has even wheels and everything to it, and then over here, we have some sort of an excavator, again, which it has like its own little articulation and everything to it, also has wheels, but again, I don't know why in the world a Velociraptor would be carrying this stuff. I'm not entirely sure exactly who the company is that creates these. I don't know what the story behind them is. I know pretty much nothing about this and why we have this stuff on it. You can actually remove this stuff, and you can see we have the actual Raptor itself, again, without all of those extras, which is clearly the way to go when displaying this particular figure. We have articulated arms, sort of articulated legs, but they don't really move very much, and then sort of articulated ankles, but not really. And then here's the area where you would connect the construction gear, but we do also have sort of a jaw-chomping action feature, but not really a whole lot going on with that. But again, like I told you guys, super weird, super random, knockoff Jurassic World figures. Again, I can't really tell if this is a straight up bootleg or if this is just like an inspired by situation, because even though it looks very similar to a Mattel Raptor, it also looks a good bit different at the same time. But there were a few figures. The two first ones are absolutely Mattel bootlegs. There's no doubt there. But again, very interesting stuff that Dinomikemak was able to score at his local Hong Kong Toy Fair. Oh boy, Hasbro-like with the screw holes over here. But stuff that I thought was interesting. Oh, actually, I just noticed that we can turn the head. Look at that. So if we turn the tail, we turn the head and neck as well. A little extra action feature. But stuff that I thought was interesting enough to show you guys, because it was just something that was so different than what you usually see, and something that I felt like would make kind of a fun video. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think of these super random little oddballs, kind of like a Jurassic World freak show here. And of course, make sure you also like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.